What up, YouTube world? This is Hugo, aka Too Much, back with Foster Home Fed and Fighting. And on this platform, we talk about growth. Mostly growth. Good energy and all that, positive vibes and all that, but mostly growth because it's all about growing. From where you used to be to where you are now. Never get comfortable being comfortable because at any given moment, life itself can change. So accept the good with the good and the bad, that too shall pass. Um, you know what, today I was sitting back, right, and I was thinking to myself, telling me, like, you know what? What would I tell a younger me? You know, think about that. Through your life experience and all that stuff, what would you tell yourself, a younger you? What would you tell yourself, right? California, baby. But, so I was sitting back just thinking about, I was just at work, just thinking, right? And I was thinking, like, you know what I would tell me? A younger Hugo, I would tell him, don't worry so much. Life is life, man. There's gonna be ups and downs, the roller coasters. But just don't worry so much. And it's easier said than done, you know what I'm saying? But a younger Hugo, I would just tell him, hey man, life's gonna go the way life's gonna go. Just don't worry so much. You know what I mean? I was just thinking about that, just food for thought. What would you do? What would you tell a younger version of you throughout your experience of nowadays, knowing more than what you normally know, right? But anyways, let's get back to the story. Let's talk about. I was talking about. I was in jail. Remember, went back to this part right here. I was in jail. I was already in it like 6 months. Mind's playing tricks on me. I was already willing to admit to something I've never did. Like I said before, I didn't know the victim. I didn't know the couple defendants. I was saying I didn't even know them. But that's how hot I was back then, right? The gang task force really wanted to get me for something at that time of my life because I was I was doing what I was doing. But anyways, so I was already tired of it. I was tired of being in jail, so I wanted to come out. That's how much your mind messes with you when you're in jail. I wanted to be out. Man, like I said it before, I don't care if it's 1 second. I don't care if it's just them putting the handcuffs on you. I don't care if it's a month. I don't care if it's a day. I hate jail. Like I'm talking about, I sincerely hate jail. Like there's a lot of stuff I do not like. I dislike. But and hate's a strong word to say, right? But I hate jail. That is something right there that not only did it kill my spirit, it killed like it just brought me down. I know, like when I would get out of jail, like I said before, I would just be different. Everything is so serious in jail. So I was kind of like, and me, I'm a happy-go-lucky person. You know what I'm saying? It's always shits and giggles, but when you put that to the side, I know when it is time to get um time to get serious, right? But man, in there, you always have to be on your P's and Q's. You always have to be like always tripping off the dumbest things, dude. So I hated jail. So like I said, I was in there already for like 6 months. I was trustee quarters, right? And I had already went through a photo lineup. Thank God they didn't pick me up, but they did pick out my co-defendant. And then so it kind of that tripped me out because I thought they were gonna put me in by myself with four other guys, right, that looked like me or whatnot, but it wasn't nowhere near that, nowhere near that. And look, one, they didn't look nowhere near like me. I think that if it wasn't, shoot, if the dude wanted to just pick somebody that looked like something, they could have just picked me and I would have been stuck. But anyway, so I didn't get picked out of a photo lineup, and I didn't get picked out of a live lineup, right? This one was live, so I had that going against me. Plus, I had that going for me. Plus, I didn't fit the description of the third suspect, which that's what how they ended up getting me, right? I was thinking about a lot of things happened to me, crazy stuff like even with the federal case. When I got caught with that, it trips me out how the law works. So like I said, I was just because I was hot doesn't mean I did the crime. So, but my name was so hot that that somehow my name got thrown in it. Now I'm fighting for my life, kind of like the federal thing, like the way they got a warrant to come raid me and everything, because someone out of their mouth just said, "Oh, that guy pulled a gun out of me." It wasn't even true. So it just chips me out. Like, man, someone could just say something, and then all of a sudden, they're raiding your house, or they're coming to look for you or something. That makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the cops are doing any investigation. I just think they're just trying to bust me or whatnot. But whatever, man. That's my past life. That's 2016. But anyways, back to the story, right? So I was already in jail. I was ready to give up. I was ready to. I was thinking like, man, if I just take the time, maybe I'll be out. That's how bad I wanted to be out. I wanted to be out on the streets that bad. Like I said, my name was getting high. My name was popping. A lot of people knew me. I was doing things, right? My name was kind of out there. People knew me. I associated with people that were getting money. So then I kind of wanted to go back into that life part right there, right? So, anyways, we had the preliminary hearing. So before the court did the preliminary hearing, which this is the hearing where they bring the evidence to see if they can try to take you to trial if they have enough evidence, right? But remember how I said how I said that we used to do dumbass shit, dude. Dumbass shit. I still don't understand it, why we would do that. Like how we would go beat up the smokers, which they're the ones putting money in our pockets to be out there trying to floss and showboat and all that shit, right? But what was crazy is one day when I was sitting, they gave me the court date. I had the court date, but I was sitting in the trustees, right? And then I remember I was sitting down, and breaking news hit the TV. Boom, 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 boom. Breaking news of murder. Now the murder that had occurred, it was in my neighborhood, the neighborhood that I got put on. It was in that neighborhood. And what's crazy is well, what had happened allegedly. Um, I think about 5 to 6 of the homies, Mexicans and blacks, ended up beating up a smoker, and they went too far, and then ended up killing them. Right now, the crazy part about it, I was sitting down, I looked, and it said boom, 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 breaking news, murder, do do do. They said the street in the neighborhood, and then I got up. I was like, oh my god, that's where I'm from. That's my neighborhood. That's where we cracking at. That's the spot right there. And everyone's like, oh, for real? I'm like, yeah, man, that's the $1 million spot right there. Woo woo. But anyways, man, see, I believe in my heart, God put me in jail. See, this is the part where I say, this is what makes me believe. I believe in my heart, God knows I'm a good dude. Whether I was selling drugs or not, that was in my heart. That was just what I had to do in life to survive, right? I don't have nobody. I don't have nothing. That's not an excuse. That's the truth. It's my truth. So maybe I could have went upon it another way, but I choose to do bad, and that is what happens, right? But but I I was tripping because I was thinking, now the people that got busted, I think it was like 3 black homies and I think 4 Mexicans, right? And what tripped me out, you know how that happens when there's a lot of people in a crime, a lot of people start telling. But anyway, that's another thing. But what tripped me out is the people that got busted for that. I hung around them too. They weren't my crew, but like I said, in this neighborhood, it's a big neighborhood, and there's kind of like little crews of people. You had the super gang banging ones that weren't about getting their money. Then you had people like me that were about getting their money. They didn't really care about that set tripping colored bull stuff. I didn't care about none of that. I just wanted to get this money, right? I mean, I represented, but at the same time, there was money to be made, and I'm taking all that money. But what tripped me out is that these guys that got busted, I would have been in trouble for that murder. I would have been with them that night. I would have jumped in it and stomped the dude out too, following like a follower though. I wasn't into the non-bullying or not being mean. It was just life. That's just what I did. You know what I'm saying? That's what we did, not I, but that's just what that circle group at that time what we did. There was no worries. That's just how you lived your life. You got up, you went and hustled, you stayed on the block, you did your thing, bam, right? But when I was sitting in jail, I was watching it, and talked about how the FBI now is there. They're taking control of the over the investigation. And then and I was sitting down in jail at this moment, and that to me in my heart told me, "Oh my God!" One of the last words I remember my brother telling me was like, "Just don't get in trouble." And it tripped me out because I was thinking like, dude, I should have been there. Like I should have been there. I would have been someone throwing in kicks and punches too. I should have been there, right? And I believe this what made me believe. This made me believe, man, God was watching me. God knew I would have been part of that. God knew I would have been part of that. So I think God put me in jail for a crime I never committed, not only to teach me a lesson, but to open up my eyes. And you know what's even more crazy about that? When I still didn't learn my lesson at that time, but that did open up my eyes. That's what made me believe even more that there's a higher power watching me, that's protecting me, right? But anyways, like I said, I was sitting back in the trustee room, and I seen do breaking news, murder. Ooh, they say the neighborhood I'm from. They said the street, and I was thinking like, oh my God, that's why I'm here. So I was tripping now. Now I'm over here like, oh my God, man, I would have been in trouble for murder, right? So now that's going through my head. I have my court date coming up. Now I believe that's the reason why I'm in jail and serving time for a crime I never committed, because I am being punished for some things I never did, but it could have been worse. God protected me. That the individual that ended up really getting in trouble, all them dudes got time, but that guy is still in prison. Nothing but love to Lamont, man. Boom. He was young. I believe he learned his lesson. And you know what? I'm not the one to say release or not release, but sometimes I believe that people do learn their lessons. So, and I don't know if he did or not, but I just pray for better of him and his family, and I do hope that he does come home one day, because I don't believe you should pay forever for your past mistakes if you really forgive. You know what I'm saying? Like if you really are truly sorry. If you're not sorry, then hey man, rot in jail, man. You know what I'm saying? You do the crime, pay the time. That's the way it works. But I also believe in my heart that people do change. You know, some people change later on. Some people learn later, and shoot, that's okay as long as you end up learning, right? But anyway, so that made me think that. I was thinking like, oh my God, dude, these are the dudes I hung around with. These are the dudes when I told you we're beat up some smokers. That was the people I was doing it with. These cats right here, right? So, anyways, now I'm tripping off that, and then I have a court date coming up at the preliminary hearing, right? So now my mind's really playing tricks on me, because now I'm thinking like, oh my God, dude, what if this guy is saying it is me, and they keep pressing the issue, and I really go to prison for something I never did. So now I'm scared for that court date, because now I'm thinking about all the what could happen and what could go wrong. So I'm over here thinking to myself, what could go wrong? What could really happen, right? So um so when the court date came, I was nervous and I was scared, right? Like I said, my co-defendant was fighting this case from the street. So every time I seen him on my court dates, he'd be all street closed out, and I'd be in chains, and I'd be in my jailhouse jumper, right? So I remember the court date finally came, right, and it was about almost 6.5, 7 months. The court date finally came for the preliminary hearing, where they're going to present all the evidence to see if they have enough to hold us up in a trial, right? To what is it? Prosecute us, right? So when I finally they bring me out, I sit with my and like I said, at this time I didn't have money, so I couldn't buy a lawyer, so I had to get a public defender, right? But I had this public defender before, and she really did an amazing job for me, so I knew she was good, right? And anyways, my co-defendant comes in with his lawyer. We're in the courthouse. Shit just got real. Mind you, remember I told you that they don't say the dude's name because they have to protect their identity, so then no one, goes threatens them or hurts them while they're trying to testify against us, right? So at the same time, when I get into the courtroom, I'm not looking at my co-defendant, because my story is like, I don't even know the guy. I don't know the victim or this guy. So why am I even here with them, right? But anyways, so what's crazy is that. So check this part out. They bring in the dude. This is the first time I seen the victim, right? the guy that's gay, right? First time I seen him, I physically seen who it was, right? Because when I went through a lineup, this behind the thing, they can't see, we can't see him, he can see us. So I never even seen this cat. Well, anyways, they brought him out to get on the stand, right? They go, the judge, the prosecutor or whoever says, can you state your name for the record, right? Well, this dude goes, um, I don't really want to say my name, and then the prosecutor's like, you have to say your name, for the record. And then he goes, well, and he's like, okay, and he said his name right. I looked at my lawyer, she wrote his name down, and see, I was so criminal minded back then. I was thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this cat. That's weird. I'm over here fighting a hate crime, and my mind is still thinking I'm gonna get this dude because I had to do time for him. And I just watched what happened like a couple days, maybe a week ago on TV about that murder. So that's how that's what I'm saying, man. Like I had a friend one time, right? She told me, she goes, you did all that bad stuff, and then you had a kid, and you still did that kind of bad stuff. A lot of people say, when I have my kid, I'm gonna settle down. I'm not gonna do bad stuff. You know what? It was just life, man. That's just the way I lived. So I didn't, it wasn't different. It was the norm. It was normal. You know what I'm saying? That was all normal to me. It wasn't nothing like oh my God, I got a kid. I gotta stop everything. How am I gonna make money? You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no handouts. I didn't even have a good work ethic at that time. I was too mentality of focus on hustling, right? So, anyways, like I said, I was the dude. The dude said his name, so my lawyer, she wrote his name down on paper, right? Because she wanted to also get his, like, find out about him, right? So she had to write that down. Now I'm sitting down, and then he says his name. The prosecutor goes, "Can you identify the people that harmed you on?" And they said the date, and then the guy, no lie, points to me, and he points to my co-defendant that way, right? So I'm like, what the, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, right? Like, I don't even know this dude. I've never seen him in my life, right? So I'm thinking like, oh my God. So I have an uphill battle, right? But I had to believe in God. That's just me personally. I'm thinking like, oh my God, right? So they told him, tell us what happened. Now the gay dude, right? This guy goes, I was walking on down the street, which is our neighborhood. I was walking on the street. I was walking by, and then he said the dude, my co-defendant's name, Manny, right? He said, Manny, I see Manny, and this guy with a couple other people, and then he pointed. He goes, the prosecutor's is the other guy in here, and he goes, yeah, and he pointed to me too. Like, mind you, I'm thinking like, what? I don't even know this dude. I've never seen him in my life. So I'm tripping. You gotta understand something. Imagine that. Imagine you're getting accused of something. Imagine you really never did something, and someone says you did it, and you're thinking like, no, I really didn't. And then they're like, oh no, you did it. And I'm thinking like, I don't even know you. Yeah, but you did it. That's how it felt. Like I can't just say I don't even know this dude. What are you talking about? But I can't even say that. This dude's saying the other co-defendant, yeah, and he pointed to me, and I was like, what? They go, so what happened? So he's like, yeah, I was walking on the street, and across the street's the apartments, right, the neighborhood, right. He goes, I see Manny and the other guy, and points to me, and there's another guy. He said he sees them. They walk up to him, and words got exchanged, and I guess that dude Manny just took fight on him. Took fight means like when started punching on him. Well, when he punched on him, he's telling the story like this. That's the gay dude's telling this story. He's like started punching on me. When he punched on me, I fell down. I was in front of a truck. I fell down, and then him and his buddies started punching me, kicking me, and they started assaulting me. They all started jumping me, right? And while they were jumping me, they called me a faggot. And then and I'm thinking in my mind like I don't even know this dude. He's literally saying, this guy, and this guy, right? So I'm over here tripping like, what? I'm looking at my lawyer. My lawyer's like, calm down, because she could see me getting all like. I explained the story to her, like I don't even know the guy, and then she's like, but they're trying to get you. She's like, you have a lot of stuff going for you that that'll work for you, but we just have to play it out. And I'm thinking in my mind, so she's calming me down, like because she sees me looking at her. She's like, that when we talk, when it's our turn, we'll speak, right? He goes, I go, okay. So dude's like, yeah, the guy Manny punched me. I fell down. I covered up, and then him and his other buddies, they started just jumping me. Right? They all started jumping me, and they're calling me a faggot. They're calling me queer. You know, get out of here. We'll started saying all these, I'm saying all these names, right? And then I'm over here like I'm over here like just chilling, while hearing this guy just lie, just straight up lie, right? Lie up on Big Hugo's name, right? So I'm like, what? And then, so he told his little story. Now it's time for my lawyer to cross-examine this cat, right? So my lawyer goes, okay, so you know my defendant, and she said my name, but boom, boom, and then he says, yeah. He goes, oh, okay, so you know him, right? And then he goes, yeah, and then he goes, okay. She goes, okay. She goes, so you're saying my defendant walked up and started punching you after the co-defendant Manny hit you, right? That's what you're saying? And he goes, yeah. She goes, okay. So how did it happen? He goes, well, he walked, like, she's like, explain to us how it happened. He goes, like, she's like, well, what do you mean? I just did. She goes, no, like, tell us how you see my client hit you. How did you come upon that? She goes, well, like I said, Manny walked up to me, punched me, and when he punched me, I fell down, and then his friend he walked up with him. It was Manny and two of his friends walked up, which they're accusing me of being one of them, right? And another guy walked up with him at the same time, but Manny punched him first. He fell down, so he's saying, yeah, he punched me, I fell down, and then I covered up. And that's when his friends started kicking me, punching me while I had my hair down. My lawyer goes, my lawyer, she goes, well, she's my what is it called? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Forgot. Public defender. There you go. My bad. So my public defender goes, okay. So let me tell you, let me rewrite the story. So you're telling me that guy, co-defendant Manny, walked up, punched you, right? And he goes, yes. Remember, this guy's super flamboyantly gay, though, like hella gay, like not in a bad way. I don't mean to be talking down because I'm not talking down, but I'm just saying the way he carried himself, like really flamboyant, like, oh my God, yes. He talked like that, right? So she goes, so you're telling me that his co-defendant walked up, they were behind him, right? And then he goes, yeah. And he goes, and Manny punched you, right? And then he goes, yes. Then you fell. When you fell, what did you do? He goes, did you cover up in a fetal position? What did you use? Yes, I covered up, fetal position. I went down, and I was getting hit. They started punching me. She goes, okay. So at what time? So you're telling me while you're getting hit and you're getting punched, you had enough time to look up to see my client strike you? Man, if this was not like some Matlock, Sherlock Holmes type of TV, oh, mind you, forgot to say this. I had a back then, man. Your boy, had people on the team, right? So I had one of my my foster brother, my brother had passed away. His girl, right? Remember I said a couple stories back that we would live over there and whatnot. Well, she had like about 5 or 6 friends, female friends, and they all went to the preliminary hearing. They all were there, so I had like a little audience that were there to support me, right? Like about 5 or 6 girls, right? Friends though. Well, they were there watching it, right? And it was just like a movie, I couldn't even believe the way this went down. So, mind you, I'm sitting down there shackled up, co-defendant's all in his street clothes. This dude's telling the story, and what he said, he goes, my lawyer goes, so you're telling me that when you got punched, you were able to lift your head up and see my client strike you? Wow. If you cannot understand what happened next, oh my G. This dude goes, remember, he's flamboyantly gay. This dude goes, oh my God, okay, I've never seen him in my life, but I know it was Manny. I don't know who the other guy was, but I know it was Manny for sure. Man, my jaw done dropped, like, huh? I was in here for almost 7 months, and this dude just broke down and on the stand, on how he's don't even know me, didn't even see me. He don't even know who I am, but he knows the co-defendant Manny. The reason why he knows this co-defendant Manny is because he went to school. They went to school with each other. That's why the dude knew him so good, right? He went, and I guess Manny used to pick on him at school. So, man, I looked at my lawyer. My lawyer's like, "Oh shit, this dude just broke down. Like he just broke down hella flamboyantly, though. Hella flamboyantly. Like, oh my god, I don't know him. I've never seen him, but I know it's Manny." And he started flipping out like that, like hella again, right? And I was thinking like, oh shit, this is happening in real life. Everyone in the back's watching. We're like, what? And then he started getting like kind of like hyper and, oh my god, it was him. I know for a fact it was Manny. Manny's the one that did it. I've never seen this guy. And then the judge had to hit the gavel like beep beep beep, like, hey, calm down, calm down. And I looked at my lawyer like, what the hell? And then she goes, what? But, man, they said recess. Recess. So they had to go out real quick. I was talking to my lawyer and I was like, my lawyer's like, this is a good thing. I'm thinking like, hell yeah, this is a good thing. But I'm also thinking like, damn, that dude really almost sent me to prison on a lie just because he had hate for this other person. And I was at the wrong place. I wasn't even there, so I can't even say I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I just was caught in the mix. But I was thinking in my mind like, oh my god, this dude just broke down like on TV. How when the person will break down a stand on a court TV shows. I was like, man, my heart dropped because, like I said, mind you, I was already ready to plead out to a case just so I can get out of jail because I'd done enough time. If they would have shot me a year, I probably would have done like 2 more weeks and they would have shot me out, right? But I was willing to admit for that. And this is not the only time sometimes that this had happened where I was almost going to admit to something that I didn't even do just because I wanted to get out real quick. This is just this story I'm telling right now, right? So I was like, oh my god, remember they went to a recess, so I'm looking at my lawyer like, hey, what's going on? She's like, man, it's a good thing. She's like, we're gonna get you out. And I'm thinking like, man, they better get me out. This dude just broke down and said it wasn't me at all, that he was lying, right? Well, anyways, he came back in. They did court again. Boom. They came back in. They go, okay. The judge is like, we're gonna have to reschedule another court date. We're gonna have to reschedule another court date and get this all in order. And then I looked at my lawyer like, huh? And then she goes, what? What do you mean, Your Honor? He just said that it wasn't him. He wasn't the photo lineup, and he wasn't in the as a matter of fact, I think he did see me in the live in the photo lineup. He didn't see me in the he didn't point me out in the live lineup because I think that's how they were. Something like that. I'm not too sure because it happened years ago, but it was something just like that though, right? Because I was kind of like, what? I wasn't the third suspect description or none of that. So my lawyer's like, Your Honor, and then he goes, yeah, but the way the court works too is that they don't just be like, oh, let him out. Let him out. It doesn't work that way. They give you another court date, then on that court date, they dismiss it. Now the judge tried to pull it off for another month and a half because see, they don't just do the court date. Hey, let's do it next week. They prolong them further, right? So the judge's like, we're gonna do another month and a half. We'll give them. And then I looked at my lawyer like, nah, man. And then she goes, she stood up for me. She's bad. That's a bad lawyer, man. Nothing but salute for her, man. She stood up. She's all, Your Honor. Like, he just got pointed that it wasn't him, nor the live lineup. He doesn't even fit the description. Why is my client gonna be in jail to another court date? He goes, well, this is a hate crime. And then he goes. And then she goes, and then the defendant, the other defendant, he's out on bail fighting the case. And then the judge goes, excuse me, he's out? Because they thought that they let us switch in clothes for this preliminary hearing so you look good, right? My lawyer's like, yeah, he's out. And then the judge looked at my co-defendant and goes, you're out? And then his lawyer goes, yes, he's out. He's on the streets fighting this case. The judge is like, well, he wasn't supposed to be out. This is a hate crime. Mind you, this happened years ago. So they were really strict on this crime because it had happened. It made national news about some gay person getting beat up. I think it was like at a college or something like that. And then it became really big. So at this time is when this had happened. So I was kind of like, the judge is like, wait a minute. Told my co-defendant, you're out right now fighting the case on the streets. And then his lawyer's like, yeah. The judge is like, we're trying to put off for a month and a half, and then my lawyer, she's like, Judge, I can't do that. I'm going on vacation in about 2 weeks, and I won't be back for like 2 months. And she goes, we need my client out. And then the judge goes, so he's out fighting this case out on a bail. And then they go, yeah. They go, you weren't supposed to be bailed out for this case. This is a violent crime right here. You weren't supposed to have your bail. There should have been no bail on it. She goes, but you know what? Since since he's out on the bail, I'm gonna OR your client. Oh man, my heart went. I was like, OR means your owner cognizance. It just give you a little thing where you come back on the next court date. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I could have almost been there 8 months for something I never did. I could have just pleaded out a year and I could have done it and left, right? But I had a felony on my record or whatnot, whatever, right? So my heart just dropped because I was thinking like, oh my God, they're gonna try to keep me here. But my public defender, my lawyer, she stood up. She's like, nah, man, that's not even right. And the judge like, we're gonna OR you. She's today, right? And he goes, yeah. They OR'd me. Man, the feeling, the thoughts, the trauma, the PTSD that I had from all this, I don't think you guys can even fathom to understand it. To get blamed, to be in jail doing some time for a crime you've never committed, having someone accuse you of something you never did, and him break down on the stand, man, that, ladies and gentlemen, is God. To me, it is. That was him protecting me. So I believe this. I believe God's like, look, man, I believe God knows your heart. So I believe this. This is just my belief. Like I said, I don't care what anyone else believes. I don't knock it. This is my belief. I believe in my heart. God goes, you know what? This guy's had a messed up childhood growing up. He lost his brother to prison for 10 years. He's alone out here on the streets. Let me put him, let me put my child in jail to learn a lesson. But mostly because something in the future is going to happen that's going to have him in prison for the rest of his life if I don't take him out now for something he's never did. Let him feel that. Let him suffer. Let him understand that there's a greater purpose. And that's because of the murder that had happened. God knows that I would have been in that. God knows that. And I believe in my heart that he put me in jail because I didn't deserve that. And man, I think about that all the time. I'm trying to tell you that messed with my mind itself. I always give someone a second chance. I always want to believe somebody else. When something happens and someone says this whoop, 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 I'll give you the benefit of the doubt all the time. All the time, even if you're wrong and you're lying to me, or if I'm oblivious to understanding, or just not wanting to understand it. The severity of what you get accused of, like I'm I'm always gonna be like, well, maybe he didn't do it because my story's true. Like I did this time, I did time for a crime I never committed. I was sitting there rotting for a crime I never committed. So I always give people second chances. I always give everyone the benefit of the doubt. It messed my life from that day on forward to the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course I hated the police. Of course I hated jail. Of course all that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what made me hate Joe even more. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what straightened my ass out later on in life to be like, man, I'm done. When the feds called me at that time, I was like, man, I'm done with this. You know what I'm saying? Well, it was God. I prayed one more. I asked God when I was in that jail cell, hey, God, please, this will be the last time. Just help me out and get out of this. You know what I'm saying? I don't deserve this. I'm not perfect, but you know my heart, I'm a good dude. And I believe God heard me again and was like, you know what? That's why I got blessed with the federal case. But on this case right here, I do believe God did that. I believe God said, you know what? This is a good dude right here. He just doesn't know what he's doing yet. Let me not take him away forever. Let me punish him for right now. And man, that right there, like I said, man, it was a blessing in disguise, and I'm so grateful for that, man. I want to just give a big shout out to God, to my God. I love all you guys, Thank you for giving me this other chance. I believe we all get chances. Sometimes we learn a little late, but hey, we learn. You know what I'm saying? So don't ever judge someone. You know what I'm saying? I know it's hard. It's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. The world is based on looks. Straight up, the world is based on looks. If you don't understand that, yeah, you'll figure it out. But anyways, yeah, man, that was my story about the time that I got in trouble for a hate crime I never committed. I got, I got protected over a murder that I could have been involved in, and I just want to say, man, always, always keep your faith high. You know what I'm saying? Because without faith, we ain't got nothing. Um, anyways, that's the end of the story, man. I just want to tell you. So if you guys ever think about, if you guys ever meet me, to all my academy, to all my other friends, my street friends, I didn't dodge a bullet. I didn't dodge a bullet with that. God was protecting me, and that's something. That's the truth right there. So that's why I'm so grateful at times. Yeah, I go through it. Like I said before, man, I'm human, man. I go through heartbreaks. I go through ups and downs. I go through depression. I go through stressed out. But I always think about this situation right here, like, man, it could always be worse. You know what I'm saying? What if that gay dude would have never told the truth and she wouldn't have broke down? You know what I'm saying? So imagine how more mentally that would have messed with my mind if I would have had to go to prison for a crime I never committed. No, I had to testify. I didn't do the crime. Everyone in there probably like, well, I didn't do it either. Nah, but I really didn't do it, man. So, anyways, with that being said, man, I hope you guys really like the story. It's the truth. It's crazy. Life's crazy. Don't hurt nobody physically. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to hurt each other. Love each other, man. With that being said, nothing but love. Keep your head up and your chest down and live life to the fullest. And to all my people, man, I love you guys, man. I hope you guys always win in life. Straight up. I ain't no hater. And if you're on that sucker shit, man, try to get out of it, man. Be a good person. That's all we got left is each other nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Show love. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next story. It's gonna be about graffiti, man. Because like I said, we used to do graffiti as well. But with that being said, you guys have a good evening or there, whatever time you guys watch this.